You are listening to the Red Leaf Retrocast, your best location to learn, remember, and relive the past of the present. I hope you enjoyed today's Retrogaming episode. I hope you go down memory lane with us, relive some nostalgia, or at the very least, enjoy listening to a bunch of guys talk about old video games. And now, on to the show. And welcome to episode 46 of the Red Leaf Retrocast. I'm your host, JD, joined here with a special friend.
Hello. This time I am here at his place in person, so we're recording in the same space.
Hooray! Colin is joining me all the way from Canada. Nice little weekend visit. Very happy.
Yeah.
And a celebratory personal podcast. Where would we be without scotch? Let me pour this for the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
Give me your glass, sir. There we go. Last time I recorded a podcast was the 50th, or last time I recorded a podcast drinking scotch was the 50th anime episode, and I got very wasted. So, luckily there isn't that much scotch to go around. But just a single glass, pretty much. As I pour this on. Can't remember last time we did a podcast together like this, but...
Prost.
Jawohl. Final podcast recording before I go to Vegas
Nice.
in a few days for the PBA Nationals. So it'll be very fun. I've never been to Vegas above the age of 18.
Oh, yeah?
So this should be quite the experience.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So I plan on doing some questionable things. But I also plan on going to the National Pinball Museum.
Oh.
That'll be fun. Too bad Kevin's not going to be here today to tell me which pinball machines I should go play.
Yeah, sucks to be him.
Sucks to be him. No, he's house or apartment hunting or some other such of the thing. So, you know, life, that's very important life things too. Find a place of a roof to put over your head.
Screw life. Video games are all that matters.
Video games, all that matters. We played a lot of video games this weekend, speaking of which.
We sure did.
But before we get into that, on this episode... the theme is Switch Online.
Yeah.
A very general topic I thought of. It was my theme choice. We get to talk, we're obviously, with Switch Online, we're going to talk about our opinions just over, it's just over 2 years old now. See how far it's come, some improvements we want to see made over it, what we do like about it.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. And the theme of Switch Online itself is we picked basically games, the retro games that you can, when you sign up for Switch Online, that's what you get. So those NES titles. And we're only doing 4 titles. This is a new experiment, possibly more in-depth analysis, I guess, or just, it's basically more manageable to play 4 games as opposed to our 6 to 8 to even 10 sometimes that we've done.
Yeah, we got lives too. So.
Yeah, but in response to this, we're also planning way ahead, so we can at least play longer games down the line as well.
Yeah.
A Final Fantasy episode is in the works for at least 4 Final Fantasy games. As I see my cat is on the counter doing weird things. Look at him over there.
Yeah, he's behind the coffee maker.
I don't know what he's doing over there. Yeah. Oh, he's looking at us.
Bad kitty.
There's a bad kitty. No, kitty,
Yeah.
bad. Down. Get. Oh, he don't care. He's been very weird today, as you can see. I mean, you've seen it the past couple days. He was very standoffish away, and now he's just like, well, I know Colin now.
Yeah.
I'm going to do whatever I want.
Yeah. Reportedly very skittish around strangers, and now he's cool.
As most animals would be. Right? So, we'll get to your E3 thoughts. I've covered a lot of E3 thoughts myself over the Modern Game Cast. There was a special episode for the Anime Radicals. Myself and Leo from the Nerdum and Other Nonsense podcast. I'm not sure when that episode's going to come out. It should be any day. It's already edited. Just need the anime radical gurus to approve of it all. And put it on there, but that was a very in-depth, full E3 analysis, so go over to Anime Radicals and search out for that episode. It's over an hour of just E3. That's all we talk about, and basically the state and future we think Xbox and PlayStation, Nintendo are going to be, from what we saw over E3. And then the Modern Game Cast was more of a general reaction, or kind of tops and lows of the whole event. So we'll get to your thoughts in a minute, but I have a story.
Okay.
I would like to tell Colin.
Do tell.
So, as you can see in the apartment we're in now, it's, me, it's kind of full with all the video game and anime stuff and whatever. It's a very much bachelor pad, right? Well, the kitchen, it's a very old place too. Yeah, you can more or less tell. Well, the stove, I swear, was from like 1991.
Oh, yeah?
The one I had before. And I say before because I was cooking a couple weeks ago. I meant to tell this earlier, but I totally forgot. It's a good story. I was cooking on a Wednesday afternoon. I just got home from work. Bowling is my Wednesday nights, right? Well, I make a nice steak-type meal on the stove. And I go to turn the stove off, the dial, and it's a gas stove. Well, I go to turn the dial, and I hear a kind of crink, and the dial comes off with my hand.
Oh, no.
And I just go, it was that moment where I look at the dial in my hand, and then I look down, and I realize the fire is still on the stove.
Oh, no.
And then I look further, I inspect further upon where the dial came from, and it's attached to this, like, copper rod, and the rod has completely twisted itself.
Oh, no.
So I test it for heat, make sure the rod's not burning hot. And you can completely just keep turning the thing, right? With no reaction. The fire doesn't go higher or lower. It doesn't turn off.
Shit.
I'm like, well, fuck. This isn't good. So my immediate reaction is fire, put out with water.
Oh.
Okay. I take a cup of water, and then I think, wait, I've been cooking, and there's grease everywhere. Bad idea.
Oh, yeah.
Put that back. Put that to the side. Get my little chem fire extinguisher that's underneath the sink there, and I go, tss! Of course, foam everywhere because it's a chem extinguisher, right? So, water everywhere now of the chemical formula. Fire's out, and then I go to grab my plate because I was like, well, okay, that's out. Problem solved. And then I went, what? Wait a minute. I think I'm hearing something.
Uh-oh.
So I hear a kind of put my ear further down. Yep, the gas is still on. So, I just do a little experiment. I go, what if I, turn another dial? And all of a sudden, they're all, kind of stuck. They won't turn. But they'll turn just enough to ignite the flames of the stove. But it doesn't ignite the ones they're tied to. It ignites the one that's still on.
Oh.
Right? So, little campfire there. Again. So there's even more foam and water everywhere. So I immediately call management of the complex here. I was like, bit of emergency. I can't turn the gas of my stove off. Because, I could probably turn the valve off and everything, but if I want to be super sure and not blow the place up, call maintenance, right? So he comes over, and apparently the stove was so old in the design that all four stovetops are tied to each other and tied to not a singular gas line, but the gas line to the building itself, right? So even if you turn the fire off, or turn the valve off, there's still a leak throughout the stove.
Oh, jeez.
So you have to unplug 2 or 3 things.
Damn.
So I'm wanting to go bowling at this point, but I can't go anywhere until the frickin' the gas leak is gone.
Oh, jeez.
I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not cooking for a couple days minimum. And so they're thinking, just replace the copper rod, right? Because that's what kind of snapped and caused the leak. Well, the stove is so old that you can't just get the part. So then I come in on Friday, and there's a brand new stove right there. And I'm like, okay.
Nice.
So that's my story. I didn't blow my apartment up. And I didn't cause a grease fire. So victory and victory.
Well, I have a bit of a story of my own involving my car.
Ah, yes. You have mentioned your large expenditures recently.
Yes. I was driving home from work, and if you've listened to previous casts, you know I have a very long commute. It's like, when traffic's good, it's like 50 minutes to an hour to get there, and then 50 each way.
Big city life. Yep. That's nothing new. Yeah, I had to experience that in Houston and Toronto myself.
Yeah.
It was either take the train. When I wasn't working from home, I lived 2 miles from work downtown. But it was either take the train, and it's 45 minutes, or walk, and it takes 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll walk. Unless it's bad weather, of course, right?
Yep. So yeah, I'm on my way back home. It's raining. Then I'm going like 110 kilometers an hour. Not entirely sure how much that translates to.
60.
Yeah.
About 60.
Then all of a sudden, my car feels like it's driving through mud. It's like the RPM gauge on my dashboard is suddenly like over 3, which is pretty high. And I'm like, whoa, what the fuck's going on? So I put on my 4-way flashers and kind of pull off onto the shoulder.
Good decision. I like that. Being safe.
Yeah. Thankfully, there wasn't a whole ton of other cars on the road. But I'm just driving. I'm like, what the fuck's going on with my car? I'm trying to get it to go a little faster, and I noticed the shifting is a little wonky. I mean, it's an automatic transmission, but I notice it doesn't feel like it's shifting properly. So I do my best to pull off onto the next exit without causing too much of a holdup for the other drivers, and then I take a side road home, and then I get back to my place, and I usually try to back into my driveway.
Sure.
So I get onto the neighbor across the street's driveway to try and reverse back from there. Lo and behold, the thing won't reverse.
Oh.
At all. It's like, no matter how much I rev the engine, it will not move.
Can you at least put the car in neutral and
I tried
push
that.
it and push it?
I tried that. It wouldn't move.
Oh, no.
I tried pushing, both by myself and with my dad. The thing would not move. It was like it was in park.
Or the steering wheel's locked, maybe?
No, the steering wheel was doing okay.
Huh.
So
I had a moment with my car just last week with the steering wheel locked up, but the key fob battery in my key had died. So the car wasn't registered. You're supposed, even when the key fob dies, you just stick it next to the steering wheel and it'll start the car.
Yeah.
But because the steering wheel was locked, it was registering that, and because the car wouldn't register the key battery because it was conflicting interests in the computer.
Oh, shit.
The car wouldn't start at all.
Oh,
so
God.
I wasn't able to unlock the steering wheel.
Oh, damn.
And Volkswagen itself had told me that, just to interrupt you really quick, Volkswagen themselves had told me that if I want to replace the key battery, I basically replace the whole key. That's their kind of shtick with doing that, because then it requires this major reprogramming process to sync the key battery back up to the car rather than any other car. Luckily, a guy at work kind of helped me out with that, and now I don't have to spend $250 on a new key every time. It's $7 for just the battery, and then a 30-minute process to manually reprogram the key to the car. It's quite the thing. All right, back to your story.
Yeah, so since the car wouldn't move backwards at all, I had to call a tow truck with CAA, and then take it to a nearby mechanic who I consider trustworthy, because he's the dad of an old friend of mine from elementary school.
Sure.
So he brings it over there, and then I go there the next morning to see what's up. And then they tell me it is indeed the transmission itself.
The most expensive thing to replace next to the engine itself.
Yeah, really. So they tell me, like, the little differential mechanism inside the transmission, that, because it's the little mechanism that causes the tires to spin at different different speeds, like when you're turning and such.
Yeah, I follow you.
And so that's busted. And so they tell me they can get a used one of a pretty good brand. The dad swears by it. He tells me that part itself will cost $500, and then with the labor, it's like $1,600 altogether.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah, so I had promised myself if it cost anywhere upward of $2,000, I would just scrap it and get a new car. So I was at a bit of a conflicting position.
Sure.
Because on the one hand, I don't want to be forking over that amount of money for a car I've had so long.
Yeah. My parents always told me if the car's repairs cost more than the car itself, just get a new car.
Yeah. But on the other hand, with my job so far away, I would need to get myself a new car straight away, and I don't want to rush myself through getting a new car. So I went for a walk around the block to think about it, and ultimately decided on replacing the transmission.
Oof.
So, I mean, if I had a job closer to home that I could easily take transit to get to, I would have just gone straight for the new car option. But that wasn't really much of an option for me at that point in time. So
tough life decisions.
Yeah, sucks.
Well, your car didn't blow up and my apartment didn't blow up, so
yeah,
small victories.
Yeah, my car works fine now, so we'll see how long it takes before it decides to
something else.
Before it shits the bed again.
Yeah. Well, let's get to some video game talk. This is a video game podcast.
Yeah.
So, Colin, what games have you been playing?
Well, I hit a bit of a wall in Sekiro, so I decided just to put it down for a little while, take a break.
You helped me with my wall yesterday. That was really nice. Beat Lightning Dude.
Yeah.
Beat Centipede Guy. And Ghost Guy wasn't too hard, but...
Yeah, once you have the right items.
Yeah. As soon as Divine Confetti and Pacifying Agent. Yeah. It's like, fuck, I almost beat him on the first try after that. Like, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've been taking a break from Sekiro. Been playing more of Ys Book 2. Mm-hmm. It's still really fun. You get special magic items that you didn't get in the first book.
Oh,
that
cool.
Allow you to shoot fireballs.
That's really cool. Yeah. Okay. Very underrated series, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I was showing you kind of the history of, at least the timeline of when the games have come out.
Yeah.
It was that new company that took over in the 90s, and they like ruined the series.
Oh yeah.
So then it came out again in like the 2010s. There was one that came out like 2005, but and it kind of had this resurgence. But because it was only on handhelds like the PSP and the Vita, I guess not a lot of people would play them outside of Japan. And it's a really good series.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a shame we can't have like a retro theme cast just over the Ys series, because that'd be very interesting to do.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it seems though like it's gaining in popularity over here ever since Ys 8 was announced for the Switch.
Yeah, Lacrimosa. Yeah,
Ys
that
9 has been announced.
It's coming out in. Let's see, I have it here. September.
Oh yeah.
Monstrum Nox. It's
a
pretty cool name.
Yeah, it looks like it's got kind of more of a steampunk, darker edge to it.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for that one. Actually, it's all Ys is always the same main character. I don't know well enough to honestly say if it's in the same universe of each other or they're just alternative timeline stories.
Yeah, it's hard to say, because on the one hand, if it's the same character, like in Kingdom Hearts, because that always continues its story.
Yeah, they try.
But with the Ys games, they always seem to be each standalone stories with just a few callbacks to previous games.
I know in the Star Ocean series, it's all in the same universe, but the time frames are so far apart from each other.
Oh, yeah.
That you can just make up things as you go, right? Like, 200 years passed. This is how the world's changed. Here's the story now.
Yeah.
Kind of deal. Or here's a new planet.
Yeah,
and they have a different thing. Yeah. But it's, you get it.
Yeah. I also, after watching the Nintendo Direct at E3, got inspired to buy Crypt of the Necrodancer.
From Cadence of Hyrule?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's proving to be quite fun. Basically, if you like dungeon crawlers, roguelikes, and rhythm games, it's all three of those at once.
Yeah.
It's like, to the beat of the music, you can either move one square or do one attack. And then it's just so much fun. You just hopping around the stage, like in DDR.
Can you play this game on your phone?
Maybe?
I think so.
Because I got it onto my Vita.
Keep talking. I'm going to look this up.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just such an interesting concept, too. It's got some really good pixel art. And Danny Baranowski did the soundtrack, who you may remember did the soundtracks for Super Meat Boy and The Binding of Isaac. So I really like his music. It's really catchy.
You can get it on your phone.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's iOS.
Yeah, I can't imagine why you wouldn't be able to. It's a pretty simply presented game.
Canadian independent game studio Brace Yourself Games.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I think Cly Entertainment, also Canadian, published the PC version.
There's a lot of video game companies in Toronto and outside Toronto and Montreal.
Yeah.
I know there's a few studios in Vancouver as well.
Yeah. I think the guys who made Celeste came from Vancouver.
I think so. I think you're right.
Because they were always referring to the Rocky Mountains in there. In fact, I think the game takes place in Canada, but whatever. That's a side tangent. And I've also been pecking away more at Legend of Heroes. It's still enjoyable, but it still hasn't quite
grasped you.
Like, yeah, not quite fully. It's like the whole game itself kind of feels like a prologue to the entire rest of the series.
Mm-hmm.
Just feels like it's more world building than storytelling. I mean, the characters themselves are still enjoyable, even if their conversations are pretty long-winded at times. But I'm still gonna play it all the way to the end, see where everything
And which
goes.
Legend of Heroes is this?
The first one, Trails in the Sky.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
'Cause, yeah, I think there's 3 Trails in the Sky, and then it moves on to Trails of Cold Steel.
Cold Steel.
Which I think is very well liked.
Might be. Could be.
Because I know Trails of Cold Steel 3 got announced at E3 this year.
Oh, it did, yes. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, that's about all the games I've been playing. How about you?
Well, before I talk about what I've been playing, we played about, 30 minutes of various Atari 2600 games?
Oh, yeah.
You got to hold and play an authentic Atari 2600 for the first time. Mm-hmm. So tell me about your experience with that and the games you played.
Yeah, we played a whole bunch of different games. First we played was Missile Command. That was a lot of fun. It's a very simple way of doing things. Just move your cursor across the screen with the joystick and then launch counter missiles with the button. And it reminded me a lot of the Commodore 64 because it had a similar way of doing things. Okay. Although our joystick actually had the button on top of the joystick instead of to the side. Although you had the option of doing the side button as well. Of course, with the Commodore 64, it's kind of heavy to the point you could put it on the table and then just move the joystick around with your hand. So
gotcha.
It was a little weird just holding it in one hand and then moving the joystick with the other.
Yeah, you almost have to brace it up against your knee or something to really move it because the stick is, at least my first experience playing with it, is the stick is much more stiff than you would think it'd be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then we also played Frogger.
Very fun.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Yep. It's a very simple concept, but very challenging. And what else did we play?
Q*bert.
Yeah. It was very primitive compared to other versions, but
well, speaking of a primitive version, played the original Donkey Kong on the Atari, and that is my least favorite version of Donkey Kong I've ever played.
Yeah.
It's still the same game,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Visually, it looks like ass,
Yeah.
right? Especially compared to, say, the Intellivision or Coleco version,
Yeah.
or the NES version, even.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's something to always experience. Would you say Donkey Kong's one of the most famous games ever?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think it would make a top 10 games of all time list for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's right up there with Space Invaders and Super Mario and what else? Pac-Man.
Pac-Man, definitely. That's something we didn't pop in, but a lot of games from like the 70s and 80s, I think, would be on a top 10 list. It's very hard for me to convince myself that anything reaches that level of infamousy, yeah?
I'd say fame.
Fame and, yeah, fame.
Fame or infamy.
Infamy, thank you. That was the word I meant
Infamy,
to say.
They've all got it infamy.
Modern games don't reach that. I mean, maybe a Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto.
Or even Doom.
Doom I would definitely put on a top 10. The original PC Doom.
Yeah, for sure.
And all of its ports are essentially the same thing, just different versions of each other. But yeah, besides a Call of Duty and a Grand Theft Auto, I just don't think they'd even make a top 10. Yeah, they've made a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Would you consider them? Maybe we should make a top 10 list at some point.
Yeah, I
like
wonder.
A conglomeration list of what it would be.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of modern games, there's just so many of them. It's hard to pick out one that really stands out above the rest as something that really stands the test of time.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We've seen these
people.
Yeah,
I think Witcher 3 could be considered one.
It is once in a generation type game is Witcher 3.
Yeah. And maybe Cyberpunk 2077 will
Well,
be
I
up
mean,
there.
the game's got to come out first before we start making
Obviously.
outlandish claims like that, Colin.
Obviously.
Yeah, a Mario, maybe a Zelda. Maybe The Legend of Zelda, the original that started it all.
Yeah. Of course, Ocarina of Time is...
Well, you still can't have Ocarina without what has come before it, right?
Obviously, yeah.
And whether it's Link to the Past or the original NES Zelda, I think those still stand above what Ocarina is, despite... Like, maybe Super Mario 64 over Super Mario Brothers, I'd put
Oh, yeah.
above. That would be kind of an exception to that. Well, anyways, we're getting off topic.
Yeah.
In preparation for the Final Fantasy cast, I'm playing kind of the first X amount of hours of the games I haven't played either in like 20 years or games I just have never touched. Like I've never played Final Fantasy 6 before, and I never played Final Fantasy 5, and I've completely forgotten what Final Fantasy 4 was. So I'm really starting from the beginning and working my way up and seeing which ones I want to keep playing.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? I still haven't beaten the original Final Fantasy 7. I have to say that now because the remake's coming out next year.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
But that's one I see myself wanting to go back to, right? So it's really a perspective on for me and what I think the whole series is.
Yeah, yeah.
Final Fantasy VIII, that's a very much nostalgia type game, but still visually, that one stands out to me more than a lot of others, just because of the cutscenes and the epic music of it all and how it meshes together.
Yeah, it's the same with me for 10.
See, I've had 10 all these years, right?
Yeah.
But I've never made it past that first like blitzball area, the very beginning of the game.
Oh yeah.
I've just never seemingly gotten past that. So that's one of my goals for the cast. When we do get to the Final Fantasy is, let's say I stick to my rule and I only want to play the game 3 to 4 hours, right? Mm-hmm. And if I want to beat the game, I'll continue from there.
Yeah.
So let's say I get to that point with all these Final Fantasy games. Which one, after that amount of time, or which ones am I want to continue to play?
Oh yeah.
I think that's going to be an interesting perspective, especially playing back to back to back to back to back. Right?
Yeah, yeah. I gotcha.
And I can say right now, and I was mentioning this before with you. I love the battle system a lot in Final Fantasy V. I love the mechanics of it all. But the story is so boring.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And the characters are like very bog standard anime.
Oh, yeah?
Right? Meanwhile, 4 has a very... It's still kind of trying to break out from the battle systems that came before it, 1, 2, and 3. And you know how I feel about Final Fantasy 3. I do not like that game.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the job system... Yes, it implemented the job system first, but it was very bad. I hated it, remember? Like, 75% of those jobs are worthless to actually completing the game.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You weren't on that cast. I don't think you were on the podcast yet.
Yeah, probably not.
Okay. So there's that. But Final Fantasy IV has the characters and story I'm very much into.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You have Cecil and his conflict of interest with the kingdom he serves, and burning a village down and then taking a girl in. It's all very intriguing to how that all works out. But meanwhile, in 5, it's this old man has amnesia, this guy's a wanderer, and this girl's a princess, and we want to go save a crystal, and like, okay. They went very bare bones with it all.
Ah, yeah. Would you say Octopath Traveler is the same way?
See, this is interesting. I have a lot of complaints about Octopath Traveler. However, the battle system is amazing. It's one of my most favorite battle systems I've experienced in an RPG in who knows how long.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
It is that addicting. I love the whole breaking the shield mechanic, and then you can do massive damage to the enemy and then take them out. The story, I wish, was interconnected. Right? There's just a small piece of interconnection, and it was just not touched on at all. Why are these characters together? Not touched on at all. They just kind of randomly meet up, and they're like, yeah, I'll travel with you. Whatever. You know? They have their individual arcs, and some are better than others, naturally. You have 8 people to go through, right?
Yeah.
But there's no... That lack of interconnection is my main complaint. But the more I think about the game and compare to all these other RPGs I've been playing lately, it does stand... Like, everything else about the game is so good that it does stand above a lot of others. Like, if I'm comparing Octopath Traveler to Xenoblade Chronicles 2... It's not even close in my mind.
Oh, yeah.
Octopath Traveler's way better.
I still have to play Xenoblade 1. I have a Wii copy.
That one's fun. I like Shulk and what he does, and it just seems the game has gotten that franchise, as solid as the franchise is, and what, say, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was doing, it has a addiction mechanic to it that, I don't know, it that works.
Oh, yeah.
So I will give it that. But the first Xenoblade is way better than the ones that have come after it. It's not even close. Naturally, we mentioned Sekiro earlier, and then I'm really trying to beat Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
I'm really trying. You've been here experiencing Chapter 5 and 6 as we've gone through it. So what, just from what you've seen... I mean, I've spoken my opinion over Red Dead a lot on this cast, all the podcast episode themes and whatnot. What are your thoughts on what you've experienced?
Well, the lack of easy, fast travel is a real drawback for sure. It's not like you can just open the map, point to a certain destination, and then you just automatically travel there. You have to go to a certain spot, look on a map, and then you can go to a certain spot that's a fast travel. And if you ever want to travel by train to get to a location, the train has to be there first.
Yeah, you can't just say click to wait,
yeah,
and then the train will get there, and then you can travel. You can't just do that.
So getting around is definitely way more tedious than it should be. I mean, sure, when you put down a destination on the map and you have a route to follow, you have the option of just getting on your horse and then clicking the touchpad, and then it'll just automatically travel there. You just have to wait the whole time.
If you don't get interrupted by animals or bandits.
Yeah, that's the other thing. That's the other pain in the ass.
But then in that sense, it feels like it's just a loading screen.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
You're just sitting there sipping coffee. I'm on my phone or something as I'm waiting to get to that destination.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
You know what it reminds me of? Shenmue.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it didn't click until recently. I'm like, this is like Shenmue. I'm waiting around for all these things to happen all the time.
Yeah.
It's not like to the egregious extent that Shenmue did it, where it's all in real time, but the way Red Dead wants you to experience everything makes it too realistic, right? Instead of rather, I want to experience a video game. I'm playing a video game.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of what sports title has become. It's no longer feels they almost no longer feel like video games. They're simulations, right?
Yeah.
Do I want to play a simulation of cowboy life? That's what Red Dead 2 is. Yeah. But we're at the end of the game. There's only like 3-4 missions left.
Yeah, about that.
Oh, I gotta beat it, Colin.
Yeah, I guess so.
So.
Yeah.
All right.
But it does have really good graphics, some really good music.
Oh, it's visual porn.
Yeah, and some great writing, some great voice acting. But yeah, it's just really tedious in other respects. So
I did like how they fixed picking up ammo and whatnot. Now you can just run over the bodies.
Yeah.
Like a video game.
Yeah.
Rather than when it first came out, you had to go to a body, loot the body, scrummage around, and then it would register you pick the things up. I'm like, why do I have to do this every time? Kind of situation.
The Bethesda Fallouts had the same thing.
Yeah. It's that's to me is just a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So, at least they fixed that. But yeah, the fast travel in gaming recently, the last year or so, whether it was Red Dead 2 or Forza Horizon 4, I don't know what it is with games forcing you to be to traverse the world rather than it be a fast travel sequence or things are closer together in better sequence to each other.
Yeah.
It's like it's a force. I don't like it when games force me to play a certain way.
Yeah. I mean, Witcher 3 did it right. I mean, you're usually within spitting distance of a spot where you can fast travel from. Yes.
Mission to mission got you to explore the world at a much better rate.
Yeah.
And I can see where Red Dead was trying to copy that formula and make it its own, and I can respect that. But when I compare the two, I can definitely see which one was better than the other. And I really got to get back to The Witcher 3. I played about 8 hours to it, and then I just stopped.
Yeah, I've only played about 10 hours myself.
Yeah, that's a problem we gotta fix.
I think for me personally, it was just because its story could be such a downer at times. I don't know. I just wasn't in the mood for that.
Well, that's definitely on my kind of backlog of which games I'm gonna hit on more than others.
Yeah.
So Red Dead 2 is on my priority list. Then it's Yakuza 0. I want to get that done, especially with Judgment coming out in just a couple days to North America, and then I'll probably get to The Witcher 3 after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of these kind of must-play games in my mind.
Yeah, I've got a whole bunch as well, many of which I don't even have yet, but because of my car, constantly breaking, constantly forcing me to shell out money for it.
Well, life does get in the way.
Can't even afford a Switch right now. Fuck my life.
First world problems.
Yeah, really.
All right, we've been rambling for a long time here. Let me play this drop and we can get on to the crux of the cast.
Yeah.
Okay. So, crux of the cast here, just before we get to our little theme over the Switch Online talk, E3 did happen. I've spoken a lot of my opinions of E3 and what games have stood out. I did that on Modern Cast episode in May 2019, so go check that out. But Colin, you haven't said anything of what you took out of E3, so let's just get that.
Yeah.
Get your opinions on that right fast.
Well, I first watched the Nintendo Direct E3 presentation, and it looks like there is a shit ton of really cool games coming out in the next year or so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Luigi's Mansion 3 is next year, and it looks like it has a lot of cool mechanics.
It's coming out this fall, actually.
Oh, even better. And then Cadence of Hyrule is it already out?
It's already out. It got very good reviews. I believe it's getting an 86 on Metacritic on average.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what inspired me to get Crypt of the Necrodancer to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Then Astral Chain looks really fun. I mean, it's being designed by Platinum Games, and they did Nier Automata and Bayonetta, so they've got really cool combat systems.
I'm a big fan of Platinum's combat system for sure. So we'll see. I'm quite interested in Astral Chain as well.
Yeah, and the Link's Awakening remake looks really fun.
Oh,
just looks like a toy set come to life, really, with the visual style.
Yeah, kinda. I believe they kept in all the Mario references.
Ah, yeah.
which is very nice. You kind of have to do that with Link's Awakening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You that was a game you picked for a past Retrocast, and
the top-down action games.
Yeah, I fell in love with that.
Yeah,
so
good.
That was a good experience. It's one of the few Zeldas I've actually beaten. Let's see, off the top of my head, I've beaten the first one, Link to the Past, Link's Awakening, Phantom Hourglass, Wind Waker, Breath of the Wild.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's it.
Well,
I don't think I completed Ocarina of Time for the podcast. I know I got pretty far. And then I've only played a bit of Majora's Mask. And Twilight Princess, just a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Majora's Mask is really good. Twilight Princess, I could take or leave.
Oh, Link Between Worlds. I beat that.
Nice.
Yeah, that was the one where I died once in the entire game.
Oh,
it was very easy.
Yeah, I'm also kind of interested in the Mana trilogy coming out. Although, there's no Legend of Mana in there. What gives?
Well, the Mana collection is already out.
Uh-huh.
That features Final Fantasy Legend, which is technically the first Secret of Mana game. Then there's Secret of Mana, and then Trials of Mana, which is the third one in the trilogy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it never came out in the West. It was only in Japan. So it's its first Western release. So the collection is only based on that original trilogy. Why Legend of Mana isn't in there, and then I believe there was 2 other Manas that came out after that. Those 3 are the next trilogy. So if there was another collection, then it would be over those.
Okay, makes sense.
And Trials of Mana is actually having a remake come out in 2020.
Nice.
Remake, quote unquote. Much like how Secret of Mana had its remaster remake.
Yeah.
That didn't turn out very, very well. But you can't buy... I was going to do this. I was going to buy Trials of Mana on the eShop.
Yeah.
But you can only buy it in that collection.
Oh.
So what could be a $10 game is $40.
Great.
Yeah. I was very unhappy to see that, so I'm like, well, might as well wait for the remake now if I'm going to have to shell out $40, because I already have Secret of Mana. I have it on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah. So there was also Daemon X Machina. That one looks kind of fun.
Yep.
And they're remaking Panzer Dragoon, which should be pretty cool.
Well, it's more of a remaster.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, because it's the original Sega Saturn Panzer Dragoon, and it's just being upscaled. It looks like to be on the consoles of today. So I'm very standoffish on that one.
Ah, yeah.
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 I'm definitely happy that it's gonna be off the Sega Saturn. More than 20 years later at this point.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll be nice.
Yeah. And it looks like they're adapting a bunch of games to put on the Switch. I mean, they got Ni no Kuni, the original.
Everything on Switch.
And Witcher 3, which is pretty incredible. And then Banjo-Kazooie is coming as DLC for Smash.
Yeah, it almost...
So
you kind of have to get him, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. He's been a character people have wanted in Smash since the original Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then they announced a sequel to Breath of the Wild. I'd probably be more excited if I had played the first one. But again, I have no Switch because my car keeps breaking. Oh well.
We'll do what I suggest. $10-15 each month or each paycheck.
Yeah.
I don't know how often you get paid, but you do that, you'll have it in no time.
Yeah.
I've already started saving up for the PS5.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm still getting it day one, even if I have the money. But I'll have that option just in case they announce some Horizon Zero Dawn 2 is a launch title. A game like that for me would be I'm getting that PS5 day one situation.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
No Animal Crossing?
I'm not really interested in that series.
What about No More Heroes 3?
I still haven't played the first two, so...
Okay, yeah, me neither.
I mean, I have No More Heroes 1, and I intend to play it eventually.
Okay.
But I have so many other games to get through first. But, I saw the Cyberpunk 2077 reveal, and the reveal that Keanu Reeves would be in it. That was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
As well as the whole "you're breathtaking" bit.
Right.
Everybody's talked to death about that, so I won't go too far with that. But it looks really cool. I'm definitely intending to get it down the road. And the Doom Eternal presentation at the Bethesda conference was frickin' amazing.
The only thing good taken away from that whole conference.
Pretty much. I mean, every time I think the Doom series, as id Software has rebooted it, every time I think it can't get any more awesome, id Software just keeps topping themselves. I'm so excited.
Well, they're sticking to what works for the game. And
Exactly,
what you expect out of the game. That's very important.
Yeah, there was actually a whole video by the Extra Credits YouTube channel talking about what do Dragon Quest XI and Doom 2016 have in common. They both stick to their roots.
Right.
As series. What made them great to begin with. What people love about it.
Dragon Quest XI on Switch has the you can play it in the retro pixel style.
Oh yeah.
And that immediately made me double take and think, do I have to have this game now? I think I might, because my issue with Dragon Quest XI, just my own personal one, was the character designs.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it's Toriyama, and I like it, but the way the characters are presented and how bare bones those characters are, I was like, maybe I'll like them more in this pixel style.
That would make sense. Yeah, I kind of like how some games are being re-released or remastered, but you have the option to instantly switch back to the pixel style. I mean,
Or the original, yeah.
I mean, Secret of Monkey Island did that.
Yes, that was a neat little mechanic.
Yeah.
Mechanic? Nah, option.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a mechanic.
Yeah. I also saw
you can only play this chapter in the original style. That would be a mechanic.
I think Wolfenstein New Order did that as an option. It's like a little side level. And then the Square Enix showing was pretty good. I mean, I'm even more excited for the Final Fantasy VII Remake now.
Yeah, me too.
It's got some really cool gameplay. It reminds me a lot of Kingdom Hearts, but with some of the original Final Fantasy VII gameplay as well. It's like it at points it can like freeze time for you to go through a list of different options, like what magic to cast or limit break to use.
Yeah, it's actually a slowdown mechanic.
Yeah,
so it's not actually frozen.
Yeah. That's what I meant. But yeah, and it seems like all the different characters have different play styles as well. Like Cloud, big ass sword, Barrett, all these different guns you can fire, and Tifa, all this hand to hand combat you can do.
Are you mad they made her tits smaller?
I don't think they made them smaller. They just made her wear more sensible clothing. Like an actual sports bra underneath.
Yeah, there are people that are upset about that. It's quite funny to see what people get upset about.
People are also upset in Japan about Aerith's face as well.
Really?
Apparently she looks a little too old. Like she doesn't look young enough.
Really?
Because apparently, there's like a YouTube video I saw. I forget what channel, but they're saying because her face looks longer, she looks more like a mature woman rather than a young girl.
I guess in the original she was more wide, but I don't know.
Well, some people like photoshopped her new face to look a little shorter, like vertically. And then that made her look younger.
Oh.
But then again, that's the Japan crowd complaining. I haven't heard anything from the Western crowd.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The Outriders game looks really cool because it's being done by People Can Fly, who did Bulletstorm, and I love that game. It's just pure adrenaline rush. And they also did the Painkiller game, which is something Yahtzee constantly sings the praises about.
There's a lot of games to get excited about. We didn't mention us playing the Conduit last night.
Oh, shit.
Oh my god. Very important. So we gotta halt this cast right now. Because there's a story behind me getting the Conduit. So for those that aren't familiar with the serious nature behind the Conduit is, on a past episode, Kevin mentioned he was streaming this game, right? And he's been joking. I'm sorry, not joking. He's super serious that it's better than Halo, and it's a Wii first-person shooter game.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of a weak X-Files story.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of campy, even though it's clearly not trying to be.
Yeah.
So I go, how much does this game cost? And it's like $2. Like, okay. I'm going to go to a GameStop. Well, first I'm going to call the GameStops, make sure they have the game, right?
Yeah.
So I find one in Rhode Island. There's only one. Of course, only one in Rhode Island. That seems to be a theme lately in Rhode Island, where I go to a store and it's like, yes, this is the only one in the state. Not that the state's very big, but come on, there's like 1 million people that live here.
Yeah.
Right. So I go get the Conduit. And I go up to the desk. I go, I'd like to purchase the Conduit. And there's a nice young lady behind the counter. And she looks at the Conduit. I'm gonna need to see some ID, sir. I have to make sure, quote, you're over 17.
Oh boy.
And I looked down at the Conduit, noticed it's rated T.
What?
You only have to be 13 to purchase T-rated games, last time I checked. However, I respond with, are you serious? And she goes, well, I have to make sure you're of age. But it's rated T. I know, sir, but I need to make sure. I show her my ID. No more than 2 hours before purchasing the Conduit, I was at a bar drinking in which the bartender did not ask for my ID. So, give her my ID. And she realizes I'm over 30. She goes, oh, you're over 30. I go, yeah, and you're making sure I'm over half my age. That you're making almost half. So, the Conduit is serious business.
Oh, yeah.
And we popped it in last night, and we played it. And, fuck, it's an experience.
Yeah. We got drunk on beer the whole time.
We were drinking beer. You got motion sick during the game because, fuck, those controls are wacky.
Yeah.
It's overly responsive, and if you turn the responsiveness down, moving left and right and up and down, then you can no longer turn the character.
Yeah.
There is no in-between.
Super slow.
So you're forced to then hold the Wiimote, and for those that don't know, Wiimotes are motion-controlled based. So you have to hold your hand at kind of a tough position. It's not awkward, it's tough, because your arm and wrist gets tired very fast in that position. And you have to just barely maneuver your wrist, so it's actually kind of a harder motion rather than moving your whole arm and shoulder. And it's a campy sci-fi story based on government takeover of aliens. And it's funny.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny. We played it on easy mode, which is
funny.
Much more fun.
Yeah.
It's so much more fun.
Yeah.
The melee attack will kill everything in like one hit, and you have to kind of thrust your hand forward. And of course, because it's motion-based, the camera freaks out.
Yeah.
Every time you do it.
Yeah.
And you just hear this of the character the enemy could not even be in your visual screen, and you'll still see the character like fly out of the corner of your eye like it got hit. It's so funny.
Yeah. But yeah, don't play it drunk like I did.
Yeah, you got motion sick pretty bad.
Yeah, it was similar to watching someone else playing a VR game.
To an extent, yeah.
I mean, I'm fine for the first hour or so, but then after a while, I just start going, oh god, I can't take this anymore.
We ended up playing half the game.
Yeah, I mean, these levels are freaking long. I mean, the last level we played took 45 minutes to beat.
Hey, 46.
Even
Don't you underestimate the conduit.
Yeah.
The conduit is serious business.
It sure is.
Kevin will totally back me up on how serious the conduit is. All right? We will get on Twitter, and we'll tell you how serious it is. All right?
We already have.
It is not kid-friendly.
It sure isn't.
All right. So back to topic. We talked E3. We talked the conduit. That was very important.
Oh, yeah. Devolver Digital did a really good job at E3.
They always do. It's always entertaining.
I mean, they made an actual arcade cabinet for Enter the Gungeon.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
And their game Carrion, which is sort of like a sci-fi horror type deal, except where this blob monster escapes its containment and starts wreaking havoc in the facility. Except in this case, you play as the blob monster.
Which is pretty cool. That's a fun, quirky little game mechanic that they've implemented. Yeah,
the game is called Carrion, by the way.
Yeah, 2020 release.
Yeah.
A lot of things are coming out 2020. I like that when E3... that was a big positive for me in E3. They told us which games are coming out fall, whether it was in leaks or whatnot, and then everything else was an early 2020 release date.
Yeah.
Before E3 of next year. What I haven't mentioned is kind of my thoughts I've been thinking about is, so E3 2020, we can expect more Project Scarlet from Xbox and PS5. And maybe something big from Nintendo again, right? Like an update on Metroid Prime 4, for example.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. So E3 2020 is set to be very important from a hardware and a huge title update from Nintendo.
Nice.
So this E3 saying these are the games coming out later this year and early next year before E3 kind of sets a precedent that a lot of announcements are going to be made next year. So my anticipation of E3 next year is already very high. And I'm very excited for that.
Nice.
So, but who knows? PlayStation could pull a 180 and say at the PlayStation Expo or the Experience, that's what it's called, like later this year, do all that themselves and get ahead of the game rather than Xbox just having their bare bones announcement of 8K and 4000K gaming or whatever it was.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that should be cool. And what? I remember Jim Sterling joking around in his winners and losers of E3. His first winner of E3 was the year 2020.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean that's a great point. So that's Colin's E3 thoughts. I kind of put my 2 cents into it. So let's talk about. You know what? I might as well play a drop at this point.
Go for it.
I'll play a Nintendo. There we go. Mario's Game Over.
Hey, have you ever watched an episode of anime and been confused about what the hell happened?
Honestly, that sounds like every anime I have ever watched.
Well, guess what? At the Nerdum and Other Nonsense Anime Podcast, we have a patented process for deciphering the current hit anime week to week, so even you can understand it.
That's right. We climb into an anime's cockpit, attach handles to its ass, insert ourselves doggy style, and gently explore its inner workings until completion.
Well, guys, this ad just got really weird, so...
There's plenty more innuendo where that came from on iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube at Nerdum and Other Nonsense. Come check us out.
You know you want to, darling.
Yeah. Symbolic of Nintendo's handling of its online system.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, so here we go. Okay, Switch Online. There we go. Now I'm all caught up. Gotta keep those timestamps. People like those timestamps.
They do.
Yeah. All right, so what is Switch Online? So Switch Online is the eStore update to Well, no. Switch Online is the access of NES titles and the ability to play online on your Nintendo Switch. But it also incorporates a lot of the eStore, right? So, what are the positives to come out of Switch Online? Well, it's implemented a new standard for Nintendo games, in my opinion, to have more online-based gaming for Nintendo, which they've never really done before until the Switch came out. They had it very limited on the Wii, and very limited on the Wii U. And as we know from Xbox and PS2, they had online in the early 2000s. So almost 20 years later, Nintendo has caught up to this era of gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Switch Online has been able to implement more online gaming with Nintendo, which I think is a very good thing, especially if they're going to remain competitive. They'd like to say they're on their own gaming market. Well, they're full of shit because it's still video games at the end of the day.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I think they're easily in that top 1-2. I think me personally, I think Xbox is like number 4 or 5 at this point. Mm-hmm. I will put individual companies over Xbox at this point, and Microsoft. Oh yeah. Just because Microsoft has a console, I don't put them as one of the top gaming companies. Mm-hmm. To me, it's Sony, Nintendo, depending on your taste, that's 1-2, right?
Yeah.
And then you could get into whether it's Ubisoft, Bethesda, all those made Square, etc., etc., etc. I still have Xbox very low, right? I would have Sega above Microsoft at this point. Sega has more, I think, of a gaming presence worldwide than Xbox. Xbox is very Western based.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
last time we checked, there were only 50 Xbox Ones sold in Japan.
Exactly. That's more of my point. But then you can argue Sega is more Japan based, right?
Yeah.
But the presence of Sega in the East is, I think, bigger than the West.
Yeah, I would agree.
Anyways, so Switch Online has at least gotten Nintendo up to the point of the market we're at now. Mm-hmm. Okay? Whether I play online gaming or not doesn't matter. This is a fact, right?
Yeah.
So what is one of the positives you've seen from Switch Online?
That's a good question. I mean, since I don't have a Switch, it don't really have much experience with Switch Online itself. I mean, I guess you could argue you have the ability to play any one of the available NES games at any time. You don't have to like individually buy them, and I guess it's a step forward for Nintendo for people being able to play together online. Mm-hmm. It's just not quite up to par with Xbox Live or PSN.
No, and Nintendo themselves, you can find articles where they don't even consult other companies or even know or do any research on Microsoft or Sony and how they're doing their online thing, which I think is very foolish.
Yeah.
So a big negative is definitely, yes, they've made the stride to join us in the modern era, but they're still very old school in their thinking and perspective. So I think in this case, the negative outweighs the positive in any way we can spin on it.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's no TeamSpeak kind of situation. You have to download an app on your phone.
Yeah, that's really
I get that's really easy, but there are other and better apps for that, right?
Yeah.
So Discord, for example, because there's no way to, like, if you're in the Switch Online app, you don't just get into TeamSpeak on the Switch Online app, right? If you're in the same game, it doesn't function that way. It's very odd. You still have to join lobbies and whatnot, so you don't hear randoms talk. That's their PG friendly environment that they've created for the online. In a way, I guess that's a positive.
Yeah.
However, you're gonna have to go the extra mile to communicate with other people, which in itself is also a negative. So it's all a matter of perspective. Mm-hmm. The interface is very archaic.
Yeah.
It was very responsive, but to search for games in it was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them aren't even in alphabetical order.
No, you have to move everything yourself and stay organized yourself.
Yeah,
that's
ridiculous.
Rather than just a drop-down menu, go A to Z. How hard is that to implement? It's kind of like the negatives behind the Epic Game Store. I like what it brings to the table, but it's doing a lot of things that are just very archaic.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's not meeting the standards of today. What Switch Online is also in that archaic sense. Let's talk Mario Maker 2. Before it was coming out, you wouldn't be able to play with your friends online. It was all just random based.
Oh yeah.
And then there was a public outcry because that was stupid. And they're like, okay, well, in a patch later, you'll be able to play with your friends online. Oh, good, you've implemented a basic feature.
Yeah.
In a way, that's a good thing that they listened to the public. That's a big positive. They did listen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And took action rather than an EA move. Oh yeah, we're listening. Now we're gonna rebrand loot boxes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, fuck off.
No. Surprise mechanics.
Oh, yeah.
Totally different.
Just like Kinder Eggs. Surprise mechanics. It doesn't work that way. Anyways.
Fuck yourselves, EA.
A big negative for me with what Switch Online has done is Nintendo's focused on trying to make this their vision rather than what the public's vision is. Mm-hmm. To me, you can have an easy focus group, right?
Yeah.
What do you want to see from Switch Online? And I'm sure they've done this, but in this case, do they actually listen and implement?
Yeah.
Right? And I don't think they're doing that because the eStore is a great example of that. The eStore is the most disorganized piece of shit thing I've ever experienced in gaming.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You go into the eStore, the best you can do, unless you know specifically what you're looking for. Like, I want to buy Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the eStore. You can go into the search function, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and it'll come up. Mm-hmm. Good. That should be normal, right?
Yeah.
However, if you want to browse, and to me this is a basic buying concept, a digital economy.
Yeah.
Right? I don't have an economics degree. I hate economics. But to me this is basic, right? Yeah. How does Steam get so many people to buy random games that they probably won't even play? It's A, through sales, right? Mm-hmm. And B, recommendations, easy randomly search things. You can search through genres, etc. Like the list goes on. Very simplistic search engine things. Mm-hmm. eShop has none of that. It's just, here's a thing that you can only search through basically recent releases. So it's your job to kind of check in every now and again and see what has newly come out. And it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
In order to do all that. It's very dumb. And how is it still not implemented the old eShop from the Wii?
Yeah, I mean, that worked fine.
That was fucking fantastic. People would buy so much shit on there. I bought so much shit on there.
Yeah.
It's on my Wii U, but on that Wii store, and there's no crossover, right?
Yeah.
That's dumb too.
Yeah.
Let's face it. You had your database built to have all these retro games you can buy. You can have your NES releases, right? Mm-hmm. And the options of playing these games online is why you want to get the online service, right?
Yeah.
And these special versions of the game. They have Neo Geo games that you can buy the retro versions of for $5, $6, $7.
Yeah.
Why can't you still do that with the old games?
Yeah. Yeah, that's my big problem with new Nintendo Switch Online. You can't get individual games anymore to have on your hard drive.
Exactly. It's so dumb. That's fucking money. It's on the table, and Nintendo's like, nah, I don't want it. It's okay.
It's dumb.
I don't get it.
It's basic customer service.
It's very baffling.
Yeah.
And remember all those rumors that they were going to have GameCube games on Switch Online?
Yeah.
Or in the eShop?
Yeah. Those seem to have gone out the window.
We're almost 2.5 years later.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, that's gone. It's really wild. So to me, yes, they're finally joining the modern era, but they have a long way to go.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like we're ever going to get it. 2.5 years have gone by, and we've had nothing.
It's ridiculous.
And the rate that these NES games are coming out, and which games they're coming out with, that's unacceptable too. They've only hit NES titles. It's not Switch Online, it's NES Online. With 3 or 4 titles a month that they're coming out with.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I feel like they're creating artificial scarcity to try and increase demand, which a lot of people were theorizing is what they were doing with the NES Classic and Super NES Classic. Just like release a limited number so that people will want it more.
Getting heated with this. Well, I mean, it's an expectation that I expect them to meet.
Yeah.
Right? And they haven't met it. So.
And you have no reason not to.
No, there is no reason. I don't understand why these things are being done the way they are. It just doesn't make sense to me as a gamer.
I couldn't tell you.
Because you bet your ass there are some of those retro titles I would love to buy for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have an NES. I have a Super Nintendo. I have a fucking PC Engine, for fuck's sake, that I have modded.
Yeah.
Right? And yet, like, Castlevania Rondo of Blood. That was on their eShop. You don't think people want to buy that game?
Yeah.
Well, they released the Castlevania collection 2.5 years later. Yeah. Doesn't make sense to me.
It does not. I couldn't tell you what's going through their heads.
Yeah. But this has led to some good things like Splatoon and ARMS coming out. A lot of people made fun of ARMS. I was one of them. I admit it. That it's dumb. Right? Why is that going to make me want to buy one of these things? However, Splatoon's fucking fun as hell. Mario Maker 2's coming out in a week. Right? That's fun as hell. ARMS is very fun.
Yeah.
The characters are very appealing. Let's put it that way.
But is it worth the full price? That's the question.
So, I guess side tangent. ARMS, I would love to play, right?
Yeah.
But you need 4. If you and I want to play, Colin.
Yeah.
We need fucking 4 motion controllers.
Yeah.
I only have 2. That's a lot of money to shell
really.
out. So then the only option is to play online. But I want to play you.
Yeah.
That's going to cost me another $70.
Ay.
Eesh. I mean, I did shell out for a Switch Pro controller.
Yeah.
Which is very nice. I think it's definitely a must-have.
Yeah.
I love this thing. This was well worth it.
Yeah, it looks a lot. Its layout is a lot like an Xbox 360 controller, or just Xbox controller.
Yeah, they changed it from the 2 analog sticks up top from the Wii U Pro controller. It's just plain Bayonetta on that thing that takes some adjustment.
I guess so.
Because you're like PlayStation, I've been down the whole time. Xbox, it's a little bit more natural with if you're right-handed.
Yeah.
It feels natural. If you're left-handed, not so much. From a friend who's left-handed.
Yeah.
His own words is it's not intuitive. He wants it to be the other way around.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean.
You know? So that's one way the PlayStation controller has. Whether you're left or right-handed, your mind will still function the same way with the sticks. Right? So, I did try to fix my analog stick on the Switch controller. It was still getting funky.
Yeah, we were playing Smash last night, and it was being a little weird on the character select screen. It would just keep moving. The cursor would just keep moving all on its own, even though I had my thumb off the stick.
But it was definitely doing that a lot less after I calibrated it.
Yeah,
It didn't do it at all after I calibrated it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at least there's that.
Oh, well.
All right, well, let's move on. Unless you got something else you want to say. That was basically me just venting, I suppose.
Yeah, I pretty much got nothing because I don't have a Switch.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will play a drop. You want to do Chrono Cross, I bet.
Didn't we already?
Yes, we did.
Yeah. How about Sonic?
We haven't done Sonic in a while.
Sonic
Okay.
Victory.
Have you ever listened to a podcast and been upset over the host's opinions on the subject matter that they are talking about? Well, we here at the Red Leaf Retrocast have a solution.
In the Corellia mission, when you have to use the harpoon and tow cable to trip over the AT-AT, a la Empire Strikes Back. Yes, I'm pronouncing it AT-AT, bite me.
Don't at me,
I
bro.
had been able...
Don't
How
at
about
you.
you? How about you come at me?
I will add at you.
I'll fuck your shit up.
Oh,
No one's gonna come on you, Colin.
it's
Jeez,
gross.
this is awful.
Oh boy. But yeah, aside from that, it's a really good game. I give it a pass.
Can the title of this
I pass
episode,
it as well.
Can the title of this episode be "Don't Add at Me, Bro"?
Don't at me.
Oh boy.
All right. Maybe that wasn't the best example. You can find the Red Leaf Retrocast on all your favorite social medias, such as Twitter and Instagram, Red Leaf Retrocast, and YouTube, and all your favorite podcasting outlets. And now, back to the show.
Ironic considering we're talking about Nintendo games.
That's okay. Well, anyways, welcome to our theme. This is NES games you can get on Switch Online at this point in at mid to end June.
Yeah.
This was my theme pick, and I chose it basically to see how everything would function on Switch Online. These retro NES games, and we picked more or less the more obscure NES titles.
Yeah.
You picked a more well-known one.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure how many people have actually played it.
Yeah. I mean, ever since Smash Bros. Melee came out, it's been more well-known than the others we picked.
Yeah, but all these games came out in, like, 1985. All four of these.
Yeah.
So, I don't think that's right. I think that's... Yeah, I didn't change it. Hold on. Bear with.
Okay.
I gotta get the price of Clu Clu Land. That was my first pick.
Yeah.
For the theme.
The price on here looks closer to Kid Dracula.
$27.
Ah.
Oh, I was probably looking at the complete box and kind of mixed them together.
I see.
Okay. So $27 is Clu Clu Land. Okay? Mm-hmm. Developed and published by Nintendo, released in Japan November 22nd, 1984, North America October 18th, 1985. A US NES launch title, no less. I wanted... Okay, so to be even more clear, the person who picks the theme gets 2 game choices, and the other hosts get 1.
Yeah.
So I guess that makes you think like which one you really want to play. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that'll be even more motivation.
For sure.
So Clu Clu Land is a game I've never played before, and
Same.
both my choices, I've never played these, and they just look very interesting. They were on Switch Online, so I thought I'd take advantage of the theme pick and do it, right?
Yeah.
So what is Clu Clu Land? You are I guess a submarine creature of
something
sorts.
like that.
This game reminds me a lot of Bubble Bobble,
Yeah.
where you have a singular board, and the objective is to go down everything. You have pegs in a row, a row and column.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and you use the submarine creature to go up, down, left, and right accordingly to reveal the coins in between the pegs. Mm-hmm. And it'll create a picture of something by revealing the coins, whether it's a heart, the face of toad mushroom, a submarine. The list goes on, right? And it's all randomly generated per level.
Yeah.
I've gotten to level 10 before. And the fun thing about Switch Online, this is a good positive, is you can do what they call suspend points. They're save states.
Yeah.
Which makes it really fun.
Yeah, that's what 3DS eShop games allow you to do as well.
Yeah, so that's a big positive that's carrying over. Why it's taking so long for a lot of these games to carry over is purposeful demand for more games to come out. It's kind of lame that way, but if anything, they should come out with like 4 games a week. But anyways, that's what we talked about Switch Online before. So Clu Clu Land, you can play multiplayer, which we got to do yesterday, which was very nice. And you basically go head to head. Whoever reveals the most coins. There's also a sonic wave option because there's enemies that pop up on the board, and you can freeze them with the sonar wave, and then run them up against one of the side walls. Which is pretty cool. You get extra points for that. I found this game very addicting, and the mechanic that makes it hard is you press the B button, and that'll extend an arm out of the character. And then depending on what direction you push, left or right or up and down, depending on the direction you're facing, that'll get you to extend the arm, grab the peg, and he'll circle around 45 degrees, or if you hold the button down, he'll go 180 or 360
Wasn't
or
it
whatever.
with the D-pad, though?
Well, that extends the arm.
Yeah.
The of what direction you want to go. Oh, yeah, you're right. The D-pad itself will extend the arm. The B button is actually the sonar.
Yeah.
You're right, thank you.
Yeah, once you extend the arm out, the character will automatically grab the next peg it comes across.
Right.
And then it'll swing them around in a circle.
So continue. What are your thoughts over Clu Clu Land?
Well, the controls will definitely take a lot of getting used to, because this game definitely takes practice to get good at. Because you're just moving constantly. Because once
there's no way to stop.
Yeah, all you can do is like swing around in the different directions to avoid the enemies and get the coin pegs and such. And yeah, the first few times I played it, I was just so all over the place. I just couldn't really get good at it. I mean, I knew how it worked. It was just hard to master it.
Yeah, it's almost like you got to get a muscle memory to how the game works.
Yeah. 'Cause it's definitely not like any other game I've played. I mean, I guess you said Bubble Bobble, and at the same time you can also draw some parallels to Pac-Man, just with like how it's laid out.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I can definitely see the inspiration easily behind Pac-Man.
Yeah. But yeah, it's takes a lot of practice to get good at, and I didn't even know about the sonar thing until I played it on your Switch. Because when I was playing it on my emulator, I didn't know about that. But even then, it's still a pretty tricky game. It's nice that you can do like 2-player co-op.
That made it even more fun. I will admit, because then you're also competing against each other to try and get more coins. That gets you to finish a level faster.
Yeah.
Right. There is a countdown timer, so you can also die. You can either die by hitting an enemy, going through one of the whirlpools. Right. There's always at least 2 on a level, it seems. Or running out of time, and the time goes down fast.
Yeah.
So it really makes you. It forces you to think faster to realize the picture that you're unlocking quicker.
Yeah.
Right? And usually pieces will mirror each other. And the more complicated levels, the further you get on, the less they will mirror each other to make it a little bit more hard.
Yeah.
So I really like that about the game. I found it incredibly addicting.
Yeah, and you can also bounce off each other.
You can bounce off each other. There's rubber band sections between pegs that you unveil when you run over them, and it'll bounce you back. It attributes the picture in some way when they pop up.
Yeah.
Whether it functions as toad eyes or whatever.
Yeah, the old school design.
Mm-hmm. So, I really enjoyed Clu Clu Land. I'm definitely going to seek it out, and add it to my NES wish list for sure. Yeah, it's a little up there, $25, but it's still not outrageously expensive.
Yeah.
Which I like.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So I'm passing Clu Clu Land.
Yeah, I give it a pass too. I mean, I had trouble with it, but I can tell that's not because it's badly designed.
Right.
It's just a tough.
Yeah, it's a little tough. It's a little tough to get the handle on.
Yeah. So yeah, it gets a pass from me.
Cool. My second game is Mighty Bomb Jack. I had never heard of this game before.
Me either.
Until I saw it on Switch Online, so at least there's a positive there. They are releasing some of the more obscure titles. Mm-hmm. Mighty Bomb Jack came out on the NES.
Yes.
It runs for about $9. Developed and published by Tecmo, so the same company that made the football game. Tecmo Football. No,
yeah.
Doesn't ring a bell.
It sounds vaguely familiar.
Okay.
All I know is
You're not allowed to choose Bo Jackson, by the way, if we ever play. Yeah. Okay.
the only Tecmo related stuff that comes to mind is the Dead or Alive series.
See, I had Tecmo. I have Tecmo NBA basketball. I fucking adored that game growing up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Neat.
So, released Japan April 24th, 1986. North America July 1987. So the the youngest game we're covering on this cast. Mighty Bomb Jack, you're I guess a superhero type dude, but he's like the weakest superhero you can imagine.
Yeah.
All he can do is jump.
Yeah.
And then utilize the cape to float down slower. To slow down is a descent, and you do that by tapping the A button.
Yeah.
He has 3 forms, and I'm actually going to pull this up so I don't mess this up, because I actually had to look up how to properly play this game and what's actually going on.
Yeah.
So, your quest is to rescue the royal family by going through levels, so it's your typical kind of damsel in distress situation, sort of. You have to defeat the Demon King Beelzebul, not Beelzebub, Beelzebul. So someone made a typo. He has 3 forms. He has his 3 other forms. He has his red form, his blue form, his orange form, and his green form, level 1, 2, and 3, after his original. And you do that by, once you collect mighty coins, so bomb jack coins that you collect, you can unlock it by pressing B, and that'll get you to open orange chests, and it'll return the form after you jump X amount of times. 20 times for level 1, 10 times for level 2, 5 times for level 3. Second level is Orange Jack. He can open any treasure chest. He doesn't have to jump on them anymore. Third level is Green Jack. What he does is every enemy present will transform into a coin.
Yeah. And then you can collect them.
And then you can essentially keep doing that. Upon doing that, the main problem is if you touch an enemy, you immediately die. It's a one-hit kill system. Mm-hmm. That's where the big challenge is.
Yeah.
You're avoiding enemies the whole time rather than confronting them until you're Green Jack.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, left to right stages, jumping around. The mechanic I found most interesting is the torture chamber. Which you didn't know about until I told you collect 10 coins, Colin. So if you collect 10 mighty coins and you don't use them to transform your stages of character, you get sent. God sends you to the torture chamber because you've been a greedy bitch, right? And it's not a timed system. You start at 60, so you think, 60 seconds, I have to survive by avoiding enemies that are popping up on the screen. No, you have to jump 60 times. So you could be there for like minutes.
Yeah.
Minutes and minutes before getting out. And the punishment still doesn't end there. It doesn't send you back to where you were. It sends you back to the beginning of the level.
Yeah.
So it's like, Jesus. It's the most punishing thing I've experienced in a game in a long time.
Yeah. It's just a dick move. It's
a real dick move. It doesn't go off a point system. It goes off of the game deviation value for your high score. So that's how far you've progressed in the game, how many coins you collected, so stages, coins, and I guess that's it. but you can't get below 47%, and you can't get 100%. You can only get 99. So I found that kind of odd, how the GDV functions.
Yeah, I could never get higher than 47.
Yes, I guess you gotta collect a shit ton of those coins, as much as possible. I found it difficult to manage. I don't know why, but it wasn't clicking with me to keep changing Jack's form.
Yeah.
I just wanted to keep being level 1 or the original and just progress that way. It became it was almost like I had to overcome that basic ideal of just playing the game left to right.
Yeah. The one of the big standout things about this game is that the jumping is extremely floaty. It's just you jump really high and then fall slowly.
Give me your scotch, Colin. I know you've been out for a little while.
Top me off.
I will top you off. And for the record of this podcast, is that good for you?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. We're drinking Highland Single Malt Tomatin.
Trademark.
Only 12 years. But it's a bourbon sherry cask.
Ooh.
So that gives it its kind of front end and back end flavor.
Ooh.
I'm sure you can taste it with your nice palate that you have. I'm a big fan of sherry cask scotch, by the way.
Oh man, you're going all...
Dude, it's podcast day.
Yeah.
But I'm only on my second one. Dude, I'm like on the Cowboy Bebop cast on episode 50.
Got trashed.
I got fucked up on that cast. Like, good God. It almost turned into a 4-hour cast over Cowboy Bebop and what we were talking about. And I started talking about life. Like, you can hear the progression of my drunkenness in that cast. It's embarrassing, but it's quite a feat. It's quite a feat that I had reached. You can hear myself get more and more drunk and not belligerent, because belligerent is kind of an angry drunk. I was just like, guys, I got Colin, come over here. I got a story about Cowboy Bebop, and let me tell you. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I had to edit that thing.
I've
so
got to listen to
that now. it was fucking funny.
Oh, man.
So that was it. Yeah, so cheers. Jawohl. Let's clang. Top guys, here we go.
All right.
Well, you don't have to throw it down, but you get the idea. But yeah, Mighty Bomb Jack, tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, so the floaty jumping kind of took me by surprise at first, but after a while, I realized you can hit A again, which is the jump button, when you're in midair, and then that'll trigger like the little float mechanic.
Very, very important to master that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can trigger the float mechanic and then just stop your jump like mid-jump, and then you can just fall from there. And the way to open treasure chest was a bit strange. You just you jump on top of them and then jump off of them, and that's what opens them, at least in your regular form.
Well, you're using the force of your knees and hamstrings and quad muscles. And Mighty Bomb Jack has mighty quads. Okay,
does he ever?
Yeah. So he clearly breaks the top of the treasure chest, and that's what opens it. And then when he gets into his other forms, the reason why you can just walk into him is because he just kicks the piss out of him. He doesn't have to jump on him anymore. That's his hamstring muscles coming in his second form, right? And you just and free. That's how you get it open. Does it make more sense to you now?
I guess so.
It's not. I'm not making this up. This is a fact.
Oh yeah, you read the unreleased scripts behind.
Well, I see. I know the creator. We're on a first name basis.
Yeah.
So.
Your dad works at Nintendo?
No. I work at Nintendo, obviously. I worked there in 1986. Don't mind the fact I was born in 1988. Don't worry about that fact.
But yeah, it's definitely a very unique platformer. I haven't really played any other platformers quite like it, and it's fun. It's fun in that there's a different challenge of avoiding the enemies, just dodging all around them when you're gliding or falling.
It's unique. And I very much appreciate unique games, much like I put my scotch down. Dynamite Heady.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Very unique game, fantastic mechanics, and a unique environment of being on the stage play, right?
Yeah.
And you have all the different head attacks. I'm not kidding. That's, for me, a top 10 game. I love that, and I discovered that doing the podcast. We discovered that doing the podcast, is Dynamite Heady on the Sega Genesis. I adore that game. So I really appreciate unique games.
Oh, yeah.
We get so many sandbox games now, right?
Yeah, I mean-
or companies hopping on a bandwagon of a trend. I get why they do it, right?
Yeah,
It's kind of the cash grab mentality, and companies have to make money. I get it.
Yeah.
But, however, I've been trying to break that in my vocabulary, saying "but" all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Go forward. Words like "however," "therefore,"
Yeah.
transitions. Because as soon as you say "but," it kind of negates everything you said prior.
Yeah, yeah. I see what you mean.
So, where I'm getting at is, you have your trends, and I understand why companies want to hop on trends.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I look at a company like Ninja Theory, right? They came out with Hellblade. They came out with Devil May Cry, Emo Dante. Was it a good decision? Well, not probably in the perspective, but if you didn't call it Devil May Cry, it'd be a fucking awesome game, right? Which I have to get for sure down the line. I have to get that game because it is a very good game. So Ninja Theory has a perspective on gaming that they're good at, and it's successful. So when I see a company like that develop games, every time they come out with a game, I know what I'm going to get out of them, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to be a trend. You know, I'm not going to see Ninja Theory come out with a Battle Royale because Battle Royales are popular.
Yeah.
Much like Tecmo back in the NES days.
Yeah.
They had sports games. They had fucking Mighty Bomb Jack.
Yeah.
Any game Tecmo came out with, I'm finding myself more and more interested in.
Yeah.
Because they're a unique perspective on the market. And they were successful.
Mm-hmm.
Now, look at today. Microsoft bought Ninja Theory. And what's the first game Ninja Theory is coming out with for Microsoft?
A hero shooter.
A hero shooter. So is it truly that company anymore? Now I'm having very bad thoughts about what's on the horizon.
Yeah, I'm wondering what's going to happen with Ghost of Tsushima now because they were bought out by Sony.
But the history speaks otherwise.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
The history with Microsoft buying companies and EA buying companies is very much different than Sony getting companies.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Right? Sony getting companies, yes, they have their vision. They want to see what works. Sony wants single-player experiences. And they tend to not butt in on production.
Yeah.
Right? They just go, make this kind of game, but do it in your way. Microsoft says, make this game and do it our way. It's very much different.
Yeah.
Right? Same thing with EA. We have a Star Wars property. You can make a Star Wars game, but you have to have alternative surprise mechanics or whatever they're calling it this week. Like, it's very different. So I'm very worried about Ninja Theory. With Tecmo, I didn't ever get that. And Konami was the same way to an extent back then.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Capcom was like that back then. They had their style, and they would come out with all these games with their style and vision.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they started market-based, what happened?
Yeah.
They went Mighty Bomb Jack straight down to the floor.
Yeah. Yeah, at least Treasure was able to get out with its dignity intact.
What happened with Rare? That's probably the best example of them all. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah. Yep, Sea of Thieves.
Even before that.
Oh, yeah.
Rare was arguably the most successful developer of the 90s next to Square.
Oh, yeah.
Right? The most. Banjo-Kazooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day. The list goes on, right?
Yeah.
You could list 30 titles that were all sellers.
Yeah. Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2.
Microsoft buys them. What do they come out with? Kinect games.
Yeah. That is disappointing.
there's the worry, right? So somehow Mighty Bomb Jack got me to think of all this, and it's really wild because I can't think of a game that's anywhere close to this, right? Where you're a superhero and your objective is to avoid enemies. It's like so opposite, right?
Yeah.
And there's no attack button. I think the one thing this game is missing is an attack type option.
Oh, yeah.
Because your whole objective is almost to collect these bombs throughout a level.
Yeah.
And the only way to get to, like, you get stuck in an area, right?
Yeah.
And you have to collect all the bombs in that area to progress.
Yeah.
Well, I was wondering to myself, you know what would make this game awesome? If you collect X amount of bombs, you can lay one down.
Yeah. That would have been nice. I mean, that was something that kind of took me off guard. You don't actually use any of the bombs you collect.
It's called Mighty Bomb Jack, and you can't use bombs.
Yeah, what gives? I mean, are they trying not to be like Bomberman or something?
Maybe. It was almost too unique, and that there is that line drawn.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
To me, what Mighty Bomb Jack failed to do was the use of bombs. Because then what are you collecting them for? They could have been anything else.
Yeah, really.
And then it wouldn't have that. I don't think that thought would have popped in my head. So let's say you collect 10 bombs and you can lay one down. Every 10 bombs you collect, you can lay one down, and that would unlock other things you can do throughout levels as well. I think that was the biggest omission of this game, and that's what separates it from other very popular games at the time. I think that's what Bomb Jack was missing with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. That being said, it's a $9 game. I think I'd get it for sure. I like the float down mechanic. I really do like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun.
So
I give it a pass.
You give it a pass? All right. Moving on to your pick, Mr. Colin.
Yep.
As you take a sip of your scotch, I'll take a sip myself as well.
Yeah. So the game I picked is Ice Climber. That's Ice Climber, not Ice Climbers. Apparently, there was a Mandela effect with this game.
Damn right. I had like an epiphany or something yesterday as we were playing at co-op. Love co-op Ice Climber.
Yeah.
It's almost like you can work as it functions as two-way. I'm gonna interrupt already. I'm in a roll. I'm on a roll here. I'm sorry, but it was definitely a Mandela effect. I've been calling it Ice Climbers for God knows how long. Because
Yeah,
there's two
me
characters. You had a theory behind that. We'll get to in a second. So you can function the game two ways. It can be a contest where you can try and fuck the other guy over as quick as possible. Jump. How fast you can do it. Because as soon as the ground goes out underneath you, because the screen moves up, the other character that couldn't reach that peak in time will die. Right? So that's awesome. That's a competitive nature.
Yeah.
Right? And then the other way is you can work together to progress levels.
Yeah.
Which is what we were trying to do yesterday.
To limited success.
To very limited. What did we get to level 5? Something.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, something.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about the game's background yet.
Sure.
It was developed and published by Nintendo, released in Japan on January 30th, 1985, and North America October 18th, 1985. And it was a USA NES launch title.
There you go, our second one of the cast. Who knew?
Yep. So, getting back to the whole Mandela effect thing, I theorized that it was a result of Super Smash Bros. Melee and the Ice Climbers appearing as one character in that game.
Yeah, both characters. The
Popo
guy,
and Nana.
the guy and girl Eskimo,
Sounds about right. I mean, they both wear parkas.
Inuit, native peoples, as Canada would say. the natives.
No, it was like. Shoot, I can't remember what Justin Trudeau said. It was people something. People kind.
The people kind?
Yeah.
What is that?
I think he meant it more as a joke than anything else.
I mean, it's definitely funny.
Yeah.
It's like, what? I don't even know what to make of that. I like Justin Trudeau. Is he politically sound? That's a different story, but at least he's nice. Right?
I guess.
Come on.
He's nice, but does that mean he's competent?
Well,
Or
I mean,
does he have a spine?
okay. Trump is not competent, and
Well,
he's not a politician like Trudeau.
Well, he definitely has a spine.
Does he? I guess in his own way. No, I mean they're total opposites of each other, right? But also on the same thread. It's
Yeah,
pretty.
more
It's
or
pretty.
less.
I don't know. I found it fascinating myself.
Yeah, we're not here to talk politics.
I found it fascinating, Colin.
But yeah, Ice Climber is it's got a fairly simple concept. You're trying to go up a level. You're
Up a mountain. They're all mountains. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, you jump up, and then your character uses his or her hammer to hit ice blocks out of the way in order that you can jump through the floor above you to land up there, and then you just keep doing that to go up level by level.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as you're going, every so often these little woolly white creatures that look like puffballs just come out, see the gap that you've created.
They are clearly Yetis.
Yeah, I'd say so. Little mini abominable snowmen.
Yeah.
They'll see your little hole that you've made. They'll rush back to the side and then come back out with a little chunk of ice to fill the gap back in. And then if you touch them, you die, but you have the ability to use your hammer to just whack them over the head, and they just go stumbling off to the side.
You get points for that, yeah. There's a pterodactyl you can well,
no, it's birds.
it's a dick bird. I don't know what, because the pterodactyl's at the top of the mountain. You're supposed to jump and grab onto its feet and it'll fly you to the next mountain.
Yeah. Once you get to a certain point, it becomes a bonus level, and then you can collect eggplants or pickles or carrots or strawberries to get to the top. And then
Which are also points.
yeah. And then you don't necessarily have to get to the pterodactyl, but if you want your bonus,
Fuck, you want to get to that top of the mountain every level. You want it. You need it. I need it.
Yeah.
I have to have it. And I'm always devastated when I don't make a jump.
oh yeah.
So shall we talk about the jumping?
Yeah. Oh, the jumping. I hate the jumping in this game. It's the momentum from you running does not carry over at all when you're trying to jump diagonally sideways.
Incorrect. It does carry over. But it's like just minuscule enough where it's a problem,
Yeah.
or it does work. It's a very unique jumping system. Very much like Psycho Fox, right?
Yeah,
So
but
Psycho
Psycho Fox worked better in my opinion.
Have we covered Psycho Fox on this cast?
Yeah.
I swear we have.
Yeah, we have.
Games covered.
Of course, I wasn't there when...
I'm looking this up right now.
Psychic Detective? I thought for sure you'd...
No, we have never done Psycho Fox. Well, that needs to be
Well, fuck.
that needs to be remedied very fast. That's one of my favorite Master System games. We beat that together, didn't we?
I think so, yeah.
Fuck yeah, we did. I like that game.
Or at the very least, we got to the final boss. And...
We definitely beat that game.
Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah. You lay like the detonation bomb and you springboard it up and kill the enemy.
We even did...
We recorded
Let's
on
Play.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did the whole Let's Play on that sucker.
Yeah, go to the Red Leaf Retrocast YouTube channel to find that playthrough. It's back from 2016, I think.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A long time ago, anyway.
That's not that long ago. Come on, it was only
Like
3
years.
years. It's only 3 years ago, Colin. Come on. You act like it was like a decade ago.
Feels like it.
Oh my god.
You haven't been to Canada in years. Or month. Over a year?
No, I went there to finish out loose ends.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we didn't have time to hang out, but whatever.
No,
That's
that was very unavailable.
Ah, well. Life happens. Anyway. Yeah, Ice Climber. The jumping can be very frustrating because you don't always manage to go sideways enough to get
I was trying to
onto
come
the
to
level
Canada
above.
in August.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Because you've never been to a wrestling show, to my knowledge.
Yeah, not a live one anyway.
Right. So, I love wrestling a lot.
You've made that clear.
So there was actually in August there's a triple cross promotion between Smash Wrestling, which is a Toronto-based Canadian promotion that I went to a few times. I didn't like when I was living there. The company's changed the last few years. It's much better now, but when I was there, it wasn't very good. I went to Super Kicking It, which is a Toronto promotion. I went to them quite often. But I'd go alone because no one likes wrestling. Not as many people as the 90s, let's say. But in August, they were going to have a triple cross promotion between the Toronto, my favorite UK promotion, and my favorite German promotion. They're all getting together and doing like this big 4-day event.
Oh, yeah.
But it's all in the middle of the fucking week.
Shit.
So it's like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday.
Damn.
I'm like, shit, that is the worst time to do a promotion like that, because I would have traveled. Like if it was Friday, Saturday, if it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? I could have taken 2 days off work. I can't take out 3 days of work.
Ah, that sucks.
Right? Especially with the way I'm getting paid now. Right?
Yeah.
I can't do that. So it was like, no, because I've taken off work for my brother's wedding, New York City, which was WrestleMania weekend, and now I'm taking off for Vegas for the PBA. So that's 3 times in like 2.5 months. I've taken off like full weeks. So I'm like looking at my financials and I go, well, shit, I'm going to be way below my expectations of how much money I'm taking in by September rolls around. I can't do this.
Oh, man. That sucks.
Yeah, because I was like looking at how I could make this work. I just can't do it.
Too bad. Oh, well.
Because Vegas is costing a lot of money. Unless I do very well. I'm not guaranteeing it. Like, you can't spend money if you don't have it, right?
Yeah.
So right now I don't have it. So I can't do it. Anyways.
Yeah.
I keep interrupting. This is a clusterfuck of a cast.
This is like the tangent cast, it seems.
Kinda, yeah. It's good stories, though.
Yeah.
Ice Climber.
Yeah.
Ers.
Yeah, we did, the jumping was going on about how the jumping sucks, but it's just tough because sometimes when you're trying to get up to the level above you, you end up falling back through the hole you created. You didn't quite jump far enough over.
That's definitely a mechanic I don't enjoy in the game is you can't just easily jump over your gap.
Yeah.
Right? That you've created. Whether it's one or like 2 pegs, I would understand. 2 pegs wide. Mm-hmm. 'Cause that's essentially what they are. They're single rows and pegs generally. Mm-hmm. Sometimes there's 2, but anyways,
it's like layered.
It's layered a little bit. But if it's 1 peg, I feel like you should be able to jump over the 1 peg fairly easily.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because in order to avoid falling way back down the path you created, you got to kind of zigzag it. Because if you fall through 1 floor, you've got solid ground below you.
Right.
Because that can otherwise you can just end up dying very easily. Because then you'll fall all the way down to the part of the screen that's already been bypassed. Right.
So there's two tricks, and I have gotten to like level 15.
Oh yeah.
In Ice Climber before. I love Ice Climber. It's one of my favorite NES games. My cartridge, I have to jiggle it around quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
To fit in the. You know what? After this, I'm gonna see if we can hook up the original Ice Climbers on my NES.
Okay.
All right. See what you mean, or see what I mean. So, a great key mechanic to get used to is to stagger the way you move up levels. Mm-hmm. So if you fall down, you won't. If you miss a jump like 3 levels up, you won't fall down 2 levels, where you'll fall off the screen and die. So if you stagger, that's a good one. The other really good mechanic, especially for later levels when more things are layered and you can only jump through 1 gaps, is to time it. So when you start seeing a Yeti come across with the snow and ice to close up the block, is to trigger him to come out, and then you go up to the next level. So, because there are occasions when you can't stagger properly with the way the layout is.
Yeah.
So if you time the Yeti coming out, and then you go up a level, he'll actually fill in that gap below you, so you won't fall down the 2 levels. You only fall down the 1.
Yeah,
and then you can easily get back up. That was a very big, important mechanic to get in your head in order to go up, because you want to go up really fast.
Yeah,
But the thing is, there's no timer in the game.
Yeah, that's the nice
So there's
thing.
no hurry, right? The only timer is on the bonus level at the top.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah,
even
you
then,
got like a full minute.
Yeah, even then, that's enough time to get to the top. And if you miss a couple jumps, it's no big deal. It's when you miss like 3 or 4, and then you're like, okay, maybe I don't deserve to be at the top.
Yeah.
I love Ice Climber. It's that addicting. I wish the jumping was a little better.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it is a frustrating jumping mechanic. Maybe a little bit more momentum base would have helped.
Yeah. I can.
Staggeringly. I did remember that you can go left to right, like loop around the screen.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We were doing a bunch of that, playing it on Switch Online last night.
Yeah, so that's a lot of fun. So, Ice Climber gets a pass.
Yeah.
Frustrating, but it does get a pass.
Yeah, I give it a
sometimes.
pass too.
Yeah. So I put Ice Climber, Clu Clu Land, Balloon Fight. I put them in a category of kind of those must-have co-op experiences.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, 2-player experience.
Yeah, it's kind of an arcade
NES
experience.
games. Yeah. Bubble Bobble. You know, they all kind of go together. Like, if you want to play 2-player NES games, these are the ones to have.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's a very cool experience. And I can totally see why these games are on Switch Online.
Yeah.
It's for those experiences.
For
I haven't
sure.
seen Bubble Bobble on there yet, but it will be. It will be. Should be.
For sure.
All right. Kevin's pick, who unfortunately couldn't be here today with adult things.
Yeah.
Introduce it, Colin.
Right. It is Twin B. It was developed and published by Konami.
Speaking of,
It seems to be a Japan-only release until recently.
Yep.
Released in the arcade on March 5th, 1985, and then ported to the Famicom in 1986. And on your agenda here, it says it's part of the programmable series, aka Level Creators Arcade.
oh no,
games.
that's from the last cast. Ignore
Oh.
that.
Oops.
Yeah, my bad. That's from Wrecking Crew on the last one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that looked a little familiar.
Yeah, oops. Yeah, no, it was a Famicom only release. It goes about $8. Ice Climbers is about 18. We failed to mention that earlier, but
Yeah, yeah. So this is like a top-down plane shooter type game, along the same vein as
Vertical is what
Yeah.
it's called.
yeah, along the same vein as 1945 and Truxton and other shooters we've covered in our previous cast.
Have we done a shooter episode before?
Oh, Shoot 'em Up. That was.
Have
what
we
it
done a
was.
shoot 'em up?
Yeah. Yeah, we had like Thunder Force 4 and
We have done shoot 'em ups. Okay.
what was the other one? Shoot. Can't quite recall the most famous one. Gradius. Yeah, although those are side to side. This is top down. And yeah, this one's fairly basic. I mean, just have enemies fly at you in patterns. You shoot them out of the air. That one unique mechanic is that you have a ground bombing ability with the other button.
Shoot 'em ups was episode 24 a year ago.
Oh wow! On Canada Day, no less.
Yeah, it was. Look at that. How about that?
That's a week from tomorrow.
I miss Canada Day.
As of recording this.
Yeah, I miss Canada Day. I really do.
Ah,
It's
yeah.
good. It's a good holiday.
Yeah, you got Independence Day.
It's not the same thing as Canada Day, even though it kind of is. In spirit, it is.
Oh well.
The way Canada celebrates it I like more than July 4th. July 4th is fireworks, hot dogs, and you're done. Right? Canada Day, it's like it feels like an all-day celebration kind of situation. It feels like it has more respect behind it rather than the fireworks focus and blowing shit up and people throwing hot dogs down their throat. It feels like it's more than that. At least that's what I experienced in Canada.
Yeah.
As an outsider. Outsider, eh?
Yeah, you'd probably know better than me. I've never experienced Independence Day here in the States, so.
Well, I did live right next to, what's it called in Toronto?
Woodbine Beach?
No. The fort.
Oh, Fort... Crap.
Yeah, exactly. I can't remember right now either.
Fort York?
Yeah, Fort York.
Yeah.
I lived right next to Fort York in Toronto when I was there, so... yeah, I went there once. It was fine. It's like, okay.
And I've never been, so I've only driven past it. Anywho.
Many a time.
Yeah.
Visiting me. You had to.
Yeah. Yeah, so in Twin B, you have a side ability to drop bombs with the non-shoot button. And every so often you come across clouds. If you shoot them, little bells will come out. You can keep shooting them for extra points, and if you get... Sometimes it'll turn blue after a certain amount of shots, and then if you get it, if you like collect it right then you get to start shooting faster, and the music goes faster, and...
Right, you get little power-ups, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a very, very basic top-down shooter. I mean, at some point you'll come across the boss, and now the unique thing about that boss is the key is not to shoot like the main body of the boss. It has these white spheres circling it all the time.
Right.
And then you have to actually shoot those out of the air instead of the boss itself, at least from what I could tell. And there's not much more to say about it than that.
No, I swear this feels like a Hudson Soft game.
Yeah, it really does.
It feels like this is what Hudson Soft would make, not Konami.
Yeah.
Because Konami titles always came to the West. Hudson Soft was very 50-50 a lot of the time, especially when Hudson Soft decided to go full TurboGrafx only.
Yeah,
because they had that partnership. Twin B, I love the music in Twin B. It's very you know, very fun. It's a very fun soundtrack. I wish there was more variety to the game. I think that's where it's lacking the most. Because if you look at other shoot 'em ups from the time, like Salamander, aka Life Force, that's a horizontal shooter, but levels would vary, bosses would vary. This game doesn't have that variety to it at all. I think that's what its downfall. But those first couple levels that you play, you're very into it because it's a very pleasing environment. It's very simple. The colors vary enough along the level to kind of keep you focused at the same time. It's a retro aspect that is kind of lost today. You know, we were playing Red Dead Redemption 2 long time this weekend, and visually, you know, even when we were bored at times, right, we're going, wow, that looks really nice. Look at the lighting. Look at this. Look at that. I feel like Twin B gives that same aesthetic.
Oh yeah.
Of color palette and what you're looking at. That can be overlooked in a lot of games. You know, if you're not into your environment, or, you know, we were watching the trailer for Control.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, this looks good, but something's missing. Is it because where we're at, it's very samey, everything's gray and blocky. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
You know? So visuals are important, whether it's simplistic or appealing or not. It has to grasp.
Yeah,
I feel like Twin B grasps. And at the same time, it's very challenging. It's a very challenging game. And shoot 'em ups generally are.
Yeah.
At least for my skill level. I suck at them.
Yeah, same here.
You know, just like fighting games. There are a couple of my favorite genres to play, and I'd probably play more of them if I could get better at them.
Yeah.
Right? There's some things you just can't get better at, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
So, Twin B definitely has that appeal. Twin B Special came out on Switch Online, where it immediately busts you to level 6, but it's still the same as level 1. It's just faster,
Yeah.
right? And you have more lives, and it's Konami. You just put in the Konami code. I can do that now. Right?
Yeah. But yeah, I give this one a pass.
No, I give it a pass too. I have it digitally on my 3DS. I've messed about with it quite often. I mean, it's a fun game.
Yeah.
I love the bell mechanic. Is there a sequel? That's what I've never looked up.
Good question.
So I'm gonna do that now. Actually, I could just
As I sip my scotch.
Twin B. There's Morio Twin B, which I guess means more Twin B. There's Poppin' Twin B, another Famicom. So all these Twin B games came out. There were sequels that came out in
Twin
Japan
B3.
only. There was a Dentra Twin B Yahoo, which is on the Saturn.
Ooh.
That's way later. Twin B 3 also on the Famicom. So I wonder what the sequels of Twin B would entail.
That's a good question.
That's a good question. So for me, everything on this podcast passed.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah. So last question then. What's your favorite and least favorite?
That is a very good question.
And as you're thinking, the 4 games we covered were Clu Clu Land, Mighty Bomb Jack, Ice Climber, no S, and Twin B.
I think my favorite would probably be Clu Clu Land. I mean, Ice Climber gets a close second, but if the jumping were better, it would definitely win. But yeah, Clu Clu Land has the most solid mechanics. It's the most challenging to learn, but it definitely feels like the most solid game of the cast, I would say. So yeah, that's my favorite. Least favorite? I'd probably say Twin B. Just didn't quite grab me the way Mighty Bomb Jack did.
Colin, we're on the 100% same page here.
Oh yeah?
100%. Clu Clu Land was, I think, the most in-depth of them all, and the most addicting. Close second, Ice Climber. Twin B, if it had more to it,
Yeah.
then it would not have been my least favorite. So, yeah. So to finish out the cast, if you want to join a community, we have partnered up with, then head on over to the Arcade Game Room, formerly known as Retro Twitch. Join their Discord. Easy to get into. Just contact me via Twitter at BowlingJD. I will get you an invite link. It's all things retro gaming, and a lot of people streaming retro games on Twitch. So you can definitely get into that community. They also do a lot of speed runs, which I'm not as active in the community as I'd like to be, but I check in on what they're up to. People like to speed run very odd games like the Flintstones.
Oh yeah.
NES game. Yeah. So it's a fun community. I really like just lurking in it. It's very cool. And then definitely head on over to the Anime Radicals, big anime conglomeration cast of a number of anime podcasts that have come together and create our own podcast forum. We just did an E3 cast. Me and Leo from Nerdum and Other Nonsense podcast come out any day now. Go listen to that.
Cool.
And yeah, Colin, come all the way to Rhode Island for a nice little weekend.
Yeah. This is fun.
Had some drinks. This was fun. We played a lot of video games, including The Conduit.
Hell yeah.
You got me past in Sekiro. I could finally move on with the game until my next roadblock, which will obviously come sooner rather than later. This has been episode 46, theme Switch Online. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Bye now.